Hey everyone, and welcome to Season 10 of the Choose UCalgary Podcast. I'm Prithul, your host this season, a third-year student in the Haskell School of Business, and a new co-op student with the undergraduate recruitment team. If you're thinking about joining UCalgary, you're in the right place. Each episode will dive into student life at UCalgary, chat with current students, and explore everything from faculties to campus resources. It's all about giving you a real feel for the UCalgary experience. Let's get started! I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the peoples of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, and acknowledge that the city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. As someone who moved to Calgary from abroad, I've developed a deep sense of gratitude for the opportunity to live, study, and connect with new friends and colleagues on the lands of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda Nations. It's important to remember that everything we do here at the University of Calgary, including podcast recordings, starts with these lands. Please keep this in mind as you listen to this podcast. Today, I am excited to introduce Maddison Tory, a student in the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. Maddison's story is a powerful example of how your degree can lead to unexpected and inspiring opportunities. While deeply passionate about healthcare, Maddison is also making waves in entrepreneurship and innovation, turning ideas into impact right here on campus. If you're curious about blending science, health, and startup energy, this episode will show you just how far your passions can take you at UCalgary. So, welcome to the podcast, Maddison.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you, and I hope you're having a good morning so far.
Yes, for sure.
If you're ready, we'll get started with the question. What inspired you to choose the Bachelor of Health Sciences at UCalgary? And just a bit of a follow-up with that, for future students interested in both health and innovation, what makes this program stand out to you?
Yeah, so my journey in health sciences is deeply personal for me. So I had heart surgery at 13 years old, followed by new symptoms that were progressively getting worse until I had a lupus diagnosis that followed at 16. And these experiences really gave me an early and intimate understanding of what it means to navigate the healthcare system, not just as a patient, but as a young person who's seeking answers, compassion, and support. And what made a lasting impact, though, was the team of incredible doctors and healthcare professionals through Alberta Health Services who were able to care for me. So they didn't just treat me, they really encouraged and empowered me and inspired me to one day hopefully give back through a career in health. So when I started exploring post-secondary programs, the Bachelor of Health Sciences at the University of Calgary really immediately stood out to me. I was really drawn to the fact that students learn within the Foothills Medical Center, a real-world healthcare environment that few undergraduate programs offer. And really being so closely embedded in the healthcare system really meant not learning in isolation. We were seeing healthcare fully in action, which was really exciting for me. And what really sealed my decision for this was the Health and Society major, which offered a real hands-on interdisciplinary lens into the social determinants of health, a perspective that has really shaped how I view both patient care and systemic change, which gave me a view that not only looked at the diagnosis and the textbook, but really looked at the person and the communities as a whole in the healthcare system. And really for future students who are passionate about both health and innovation, the program really offered a rare blend of scientific grounding, community engagement, and the freedom to think creatively. And really through research opportunities, mentorship, and programs like the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking, I've really been able to explore innovative solutions to real-world health challenges like founding my own startup, which is Hug and Spoons Co., which really designs IB accessible clothing and awareness jewelry for people who have chronic illness. So for me, the Bachelor of Health Sciences program didn't just prepare me for a career in health, it really challenges me to rethink what healthcare could be and what healthcare means to me. It empowers students to become change makers, not just future professionals. For anyone really who's passionate about blending compassion, research, and innovation, I really believe there's no better place to start.
It was really inspiring to hear that you yourself had health issues and the way you kind of just rose above that and kind of chose your passions through that struggle.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Thinking back to your first year, what was the transition into university like for you? And what can incoming health sciences students expect in terms of the learning environment, support, and early opportunities?
The transition into university is always a big step and always scary. But for me, it was made much smoother thanks to the communities I found right from the start. I lived in international house during my first year, and that experience really created an environment that surrounded me with driven, curious, and globally minded individuals. It really fostered a way to help me build friendships quickly and gave me a strong sense of belonging that further carried into my academic life. The health sciences program at UCalgary also played a huge role in making my first year experience especially meaningful because from day one, you're surrounded by like minded students who are passionate about health, research, and innovation. And the program fosters a true sense of support rather than competition, which was what I was nervous about going in. One of the most valuable aspects was the ability to connect with professors in smaller class sizes for me, which made the learning feel a lot more personal and engaging. The setup also opened the doors to hands-on learning opportunities very early on, whether it was through classroom discussions or research studentships or even informal mentorships with professors. And what really set the program apart for me is how intentional the faculty was about supporting students, not just academically, but both personally and professionally. They actively helped connect you with mentors, research labs, and opportunities that further aligned with your specific goals, even from your first year. And whether you were interested in community health, biomedical research, or entrepreneurship, there are clear pathways to explore and grow through the university. And for me, it was a big part that it wasn't just academics. The programs really encourage student bonding and peer connection through cohort-based learning and extracurricular involvement. You're truly part of a community that wants to see you succeed, and the support system makes all the difference for me in navigating the early years of university and the later years.
You know what's funny? I was also in international house in the first year, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's so funny.
Moving on to the next question. You've combined your passion for healthcare and entrepreneurship in such a unique way. How did the journey begin at UCalgary, and what resources or experiences helped you turn your ideas into action?
So, my journey into health entrepreneurship really began with my own lived experience. I undergo multiple treatments for my chronic illness, and especially for my lupus diagnosis, I get infusions monthly. And I became deeply aware of the ways our healthcare system often overlooks comfort, accessibility, and the emotional needs of patients, often just looking at them as a textbook diagnosis. I remember sitting through my infusions, struggling with cold IV fluids and clothing that just didn't accommodate my treatment. And I was always thinking, why isn't there something better for these treatments? This frustration really sparked the idea for my company, Hug and Spoons Co., which was to create IV accessible clothing to keep me warm and comfortable during my treatments while still allowing nurses and medical professionals to access what they needed to. And at first, I had all of these ideas and this really big drive to make a difference, but I really didn't know how to bring them to life. That's when I discovered the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking at the University of Calgary. And this really became my turning point in my journey. Through the Hub, I was really able to connect with mentors, training programs, and workshops that gave me the tools and guidance that I needed to move forward. Really being able to turn this big idea into a tangible product that can actually be brought to market. They helped me learn how to validate my ideas, build my brand with a purpose, and take meaningful steps toward launching a product that could actually help people just like me. And the Hunter Hub didn't just give me a space to work on a business. It really gave me a community of like-minded innovators who believe in solving problems with empathy and action. It's where I learned that entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a company, it's about using your experiences to drive change. And for me, that change began with a hoodie and a mission to make the healthcare system more human. And through these connections, I was able to make business partnerships with other students, like an embroidery student from the Hunter Hub, and also just expand into market ideas and some of the more accounting and technical terms of the business that I didn't learn personally through my health sciences degree.
I did just want to see that's a really cute name for our business.
Thank you.
Would you like to share a bit about how you came up with it?
So when I was 13, I originally created a company called Hugs, which raised money for kids in the hospital, bringing quality of life programming to kids in the hospital. So that's where the Hugs part came in, because Coming out of my heart surgery, I told my mom that I wish I could give all the kids and families who were in the hospital beside me just a big hug to make them feel a little bit better and know that they're not alone through this healthcare journey. And the second part is spoons, which the chronic illness community uses the term spoons to explain to individuals who don't have a chronic illness what it's like to live with a chronic illness, how you have to conserve your energy and what it's like to go through a day. So that's what spoons would mean to that. So then I combined it as Hug and Spoons Co., which kind of has two parts. We have the hug part, which is our hoodie line, which is IV and port accessible for treatments. And then we also have what's called Spoonie Alert bracelets, which provides a visual cue to tell friends and families when you're going through a flare so that you don't constantly have to be asking for help again.
There is so much thought that went into you meaning that. So that's really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Moving on to the next question. For future students who are curious about launching a project or joining a startup, what kind of support systems, mentorship, or communities exist at UCalgary to help them get started?
The University of Calgary offers an incredible range of resources for students interested in entrepreneurship, whether you're really starting with a rough idea or ready to launch a project. One of the most impactful spaces for me personally was the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking. It was more than just a space. It was a community that connected me with mentorship, startup training programs, pitch opportunities, and workshops that are approachable, practical, and very student-friendly. And when I was starting Hug and Spoons, I knew what I wanted to build, but I didn't know how to actually do it. And the Hunter Hub really connected me with experienced mentors and other experienced students further along in their entrepreneurship journey who really helped guide me through everything from idea validation to branding and user feedback. I also had the chance to meet other student founders, which was really motivating for me. There's something really powerful about being surrounded by people who are just as passionate as you in solving problems. And beyond the hub, the University of Calgary also has innovation-focused courses, research incubators, and faculty members who genuinely want to support student-led projects. And I feel like the entrepreneurial spirit is really woven into the campus culture. You're encouraged to think big, ask bold questions, and really take your ideas seriously. I believe that if you're curious about launching something, you won't be doing it alone. There's a whole ecosystem here designed to help you grow your ideas into something real and something meaningful. And whether your innovation and entrepreneurship is within the business setting or whether it's in the research setting, which I had the opportunity to do both, I feel like it really opens your mind to how you can create real big change, not just feeling like you're a student that has to learn just through the textbooks.
The university said start something and you're like, you bet.
Really start. Exactly.
Can you share a specific project, competition, or startup experience you've been a part of? And what would you want future students to know about getting involved in innovation or change making on campus?
Yeah, so I had talked about the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking and how that helped my real entrepreneurship journey with my own company. But my learning really didn't stop there. I believe what makes the University of Calgary really special is how it supports innovation across disciplines, not just in business, but in research too. I was really fortunate to be selected for a summer studentship with the Paynes Lab through the Health and Society Honors Program. There, I was able to work on real research, exploring ways to better understand and help see if we can reduce chronic post-surgical pain in youth. And being involved in a project that could lead to tangible changes in clinical practices was very empowering, especially as someone who lives with chronic pain. It showed me that innovation isn't just about building something new, but it's also about asking better questions and being part of solutions that truly matter. And for future students, I'd say this: you don't have to wait to make an impact. Whether you're working on a startup, joining a lab, or pitching a bold idea, I believe that the University of Calgary can give you the support to grow and the space to explore. You'll really find people here who believe in your potential and who will really help you bring your ideas to life.
Are you a future diner ready to join the UCalgary community? Stay in the loop by joining our prospective student mailing list. You'll get the latest on admissions, scholarships, campus events, and everything you need to plan your UCalgary journey. Don't miss out. Sign up today at the link in our show notes and stay connected with your future. How has your time at UCalgary shaped you, not just as a student, but as a leader and a change maker? And would you say that on the campus culture encourages students to try new things and take initiative?
My time at the University of Calgary has really shaped me far beyond the classroom and far beyond the words of the textbook. It's where I was able to find the confidence not only to pursue my passions, but to also take initiative and lead with purpose, and also create change that's rooted in my personal experiences. Whether it was through launching my company, Hug and Spoons, or joining research through the Paynes Lab, or even participating in some of the innovation workshops. The University of Calgary really consistently gave me the space and support to build bold ideas. And what sets the campus culture apart is the culture of possibility. You're encouraged to try, to fail, and to also to grow. When I had the idea for my startup, I didn't know where to begin. But through the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking, I was given the support, resources, and community that believed in student-led innovation. They didn't tell me that I was too young or I didn't have enough experience. They just helped me take the next steps in order to build my company. That support system really helped me turn a personal frustration into a social enterprise that can make a real impact. I've also had the opportunity to work alongside researchers and faculties who treat students as collaborators, not just as learners. Through my Health and Society Honors program and my summer studentship with the Paynes Lab, I was involved with research that could potentially reshape how we understand and treat chronic post-surgical pain in youth, which is so incredible. The university has helped me become not just a student of health sciences, but a builder of solutions and really a voice of patient-centered change. And also a leader who believes in the power of lived experience to drive innovation, whether that's through research or through entrepreneurship. And for anyone who's really ready to explore new paths, I believe that the campus doesn't just open doors, but it invites you to create your own doors. They also provide you just kind of like the background and the people that support you that makes you a more credible source. I know when you're going on by yourself, especially when you're trying to start a business, a lot of people are like, you're too young, you don't have enough experience. Where is the backing of this idea and this information? And the university really helped put credibility behind my name and helped me find the pathways and find the people that I needed to connect with to be able to further build my business, but also take the steps to learn along the way, recognizing that I didn't have these expertise before, but I have these potentials to learn through multiple different workshops and classes and just through one-on-one meetings with some of the mentors too.
That's what I love about QFC, where it's like it's not there to restrict you or tell you that you can do something. It's more so just there to be a resource. Second to last question. For future students who are passionate about health but also have a creative or entrepreneurial ideas, how does UCalgary help them explore both parts at the same time?
What really made the University of Calgary stand out for me is that it doesn't just make you choose between being a health sciences student and being a creative thinker and entrepreneur. You could be both. As someone who was so passionate about healthcare, but also was full of ideas on how I could make it better and different areas that needed to be looked at through a different lens or different products that need to be brought to make the experience of the healthcare system more comforting for their patients. I really found that UCalgary gave me the freedom and support to explore science, creativity, and innovation all at once. In the Bachelor of Health Sciences, I've had the chance to learn deeply about health systems and social determinants of health, while also being encouraged to think critically about how we can improve them. And at the same time, through my connection with the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking, I was really able to access mentorship, programming, and community support that helped me turn a personal idea into a real-world project. And I believe that further that UCalgary really fosters interdisciplinary learning. You're not just expected to memorize, but you're asked to ask questions, really solve problems, and further lead change, whether that was through some of the innovative courses, research labs, summer studentships, or entrepreneurial spaces. I believe that you're surrounded by people who believe that healthcare can and should evolve, and that students have the power to help shape the future of healthcare. And I believe if you're someone who wants to make a difference in health while thinking outside the box, that the University of Calgary really is a perfect place to start.
Yeah, it's really cool to see I'd say, interplay between degrees and how, like, if you do want to have real life impacts, it's not just your specific degree that comes into play. It's also like other elements from like other majors or other fields. And it's also really nice that UCalgary kind of gives you access to all of those resources and it doesn't necessarily restrict you kind of based on the major that you're in.
It also really allows to open the doors, I feel like. You have some of your set course load that obviously is specific to your program, but you also have the opportunity through different options to explore different faculties and really find what you're passionate about. I feel that most of the time you go into university sometimes thinking you want one thing, but being able to explore different classes, especially for me, I have a minor in psychology, and it gave me the opportunity to also further look and experience a different faculty that I didn't even realize I was passionate about. And whether that's joining things like psychology, or I know some of my other classmates do things like anthropology, linguistics, economics, it really gives you this more holistic view of how different disciplines can really work together, even within the healthcare system, and how you can take your background and your learning through your school and through your options to really further you and bring different perspectives to your classes.
That's really interesting. What made you want to pursue a psychology minor as well?
I like the fact that you could look at individuals not just through the diagnosis in the healthcare system, but the impact that some of the healthcare system can actually have on an individual's mental health. I believe that before, and especially in my own experience, that I was often just looked at as a textbook diagnosis, and I was treated as my body being very different from my mind and my mental health, when in reality it was very intertwined. And I really got the unique look because I work in a neuroscience lab, so the pains lab. And we got to take the next step and look and use my psychology schooling to look at the brain functions and how individuals with anxiety and depressive symptoms really move forward, but how that can impact your predisposition to chronic post-surgical pain, which really provided a unique look and a more holistic look as the person, as more than just a body and a mind, but as a whole person together.
Well, that's really interesting. And it's really nice to see how the struggles you had growing up kind of shaped what you pursued.
That's so fair. I decided that if I'm going to have these health conditions, I better use it to make the system more easy for people who will come after me and experience very similar things.
We're unfortunately onto our last question. What advice would you give to future students who want to make the most of their UCalgary experience, not just in the classroom, but in the wider campus and community?
My biggest piece of advice is really to say yes to as many opportunities as you can. Even the ones that feel a little outside of your comfort zone or outside of your current passions, you never know which experience will lead you to your greatest passion or which connection might help you take your next big step. Whether it's a club, a research position, or a workshop, or even a conversation with someone doing something that you truly admire, I believe you should really lean in. These moments are where growth and direction can happen. My other advice would be to don't be afraid to reach out and to ask questions. Ask for advice, send me emails, show up to the info session. The University of Calgary has so many mentorship programs, research placements, and innovation hubs that are specifically designed to support students. But you have to take the first steps moving forward. I've learned that most people want to help you succeed, and when you're willing to put yourself out there, the community will really show up for you. Your university experience is truly what you make of it. So be curious, be bold, and take advantage of everything that the University of Calgary has to offer, both inside and outside of the classrooms.
Thank you so much for sharing that and for joining us for today's episode. You were so lucky to have someone as inspiring and cool as you. And yeah, I hope future students listen to this and get as inspired as I was today talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. The university has made such a big difference for me in my academic and my personal career. So I'm so excited to share with individuals the many opportunities that you can really take from it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Season 10 of the Choose UCalgary podcast. Remember to follow us on Instagram at choose.ucalgary and Facebook at UCalgaryFS to stay up to date on all things UCalgary for future students. DM if you have any questions and stay tuned for the next episode. A huge shout out to Schulich Soundstage, a student-led music club right here on campus, for producing the amazing music you've heard throughout this episode. It's just one example of the incredible creativity and talent you'll find at UCalgary.